Hey everyone, looking to buy your first home? Then we have the answers for you. Hey everyone, it's Nick Weidner,
And I'm Kevin Harmon.
and we're with the Roy Real Estate Group here at Keller Williams. As real estate agents, we get asked a lot about buying your first home and first-time home buyers. Today, we're here to talk about the different steps involved with purchasing a home and hopefully answer some of those questions that you have today. So Kevin, what's the first step buyers should do when they're purchasing their first house?
Well, Nick, the first step that they really need to take is find a good agent to be on their side of things.
Okay, and are there particular questions they should be asking agents as they're interviewing them?
Yeah, there's definitely some questions to be asking. The first one I would ask is, do you work with only buyers?
Okay, and why is that important for people to know?
Well, you want to make sure that your agent is focused on your needs and what you need to accomplish, which is buying a new house. And you don't want them to get distracted with having to worry about sellers or anything like that. You want to make sure that they're focused on you.
Okay, great.
And so the next big question that you want to ask is, how quickly can someone get you into that home? Big reason for that is you don't want to miss out on that perfect home because your agent took too long to get you into it and it already went off the market.
Absolutely.
Because especially in this market, which leads me to my next question that you want to ask. What's happening in the market, especially in the area that you're looking in? Not just a broad scheme of what's happening in the whole Wichita area or anything like that, but what's happening specifically in my neighborhood that I'm looking in. So you want to be able to have someone that can answer questions like how long are houses on the market for? How many days are most houses on the market before they get sold? What's the list price to sales price ratio? So how much is it selling for compared to how much it's being asked for? And then is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? You want someone that can answer that, and not just in a broad scheme of thing, but specifically with where you're looking and the price point that you're looking at. And then the next thing goes along with that is, what's their experience level?
Okay.
Do they know what they're doing? Have they been doing this for a little while? Or do they have a team at least to support them that knows what's going on with the market and just the transaction in general? And then the last thing that I would say is a really big question to ask, Nick, is what are some strategies that they have to get your offer accepted when it does come time to make that offer? Besides just saying, yeah, let's bump up the price, there's some different ways that they can come up with a lot of times, depending on what the seller says and what that listing agent says the seller's motivation is. Maybe the motivation is they want to get it closed really quickly, and so you don't necessarily have to go up in price, but you can just speed up that closing date. Instead of 45 days, maybe shoot it to 30 days, or if you have a really good lender, which we'll talk about in a second, you can maybe even get it lower than that 30 days. And those are some just different ideas of what a buyer's agent can do to get an offer accepted without having to cost you more money as a buyer. And obviously we want to get the best deal for you as a buyer, correct? Obviously.
Perfect. So to recap, Kevin, you're saying we need to ask an agent if they work with just buyers. How quickly are they getting people into homes? What's happening in the market? What their experience level is, and then what are some of the strategies they use in order to get home offers accepted. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Fantastic.
All right, and as I mentioned just a second ago, finding a good lender to be on your side also is another really big thing. And so, Nick, can you tell us a little bit about what you should be looking for in a lender?
Absolutely, because finding a lender is just as important as finding that right agent. And so, in my experience, and maybe you've had other experiences, it's really beneficial to talk to at least 2 or 3 different lenders to really find out who fits your needs the best. When it comes to mortgages, you have your traditional banks, you've got traditional mortgage lenders, you've got credit unions, and all those different institutions have different rules. And so, because maybe you don't qualify at one, you may qualify somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And what you're also going to find is, different lenders have different fees, and you want to make sure you're getting the best deal on your fees, the best rate, and those types of things. So, don't be afraid to ask, what are your fees? Ask for a fee schedule up front, so you can kind of compare what those fees are. Ask them about different loan programs. I mean, there's so many different loans out there that fit a wide variety of different buyers. And so, ask those questions, ask that agent that you pick, they've got that experience, and they'll help you get into the right situation for your loan.
Definitely. All right, the last thing that we're going to talk about and focus on are the costs that a buyer can incur during this whole process. So a big one is the inspection. So there's different types of inspections that you can get. We suggest that you budget for about $500, right,
That's
for
about
inspections. That gets you usually a few different types of inspections that you could be wanting to get. And then you also have the appraisal. Anytime you get a loan, you're going to have that appraisal. They usually are somewhere between $450 and $550 that goes to the lender that you're going to end up using. Then we have the closing costs. So this is another potential big one, but it's also another one that could potentially be pretty low because it is negotiable. So this is definitely something that you need to talk to your agent that you find about whether or not you have the budget to be able to pay a lot for these closing costs, or if you want to be able to ask the seller for the closing costs. Now, if you're wanting to be able to pay it for yourself, we suggest in our market, in the average price point, you're going to be looking somewhere around $4,500 to $5,000, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Okay. And so then the last thing is the down payment. And so this can vary, this can vary a lot. So we have different loan programs, as Nick mentioned, that people can get into. So we have anything from 0% down all the way up to 20 or more % down. Now, for most first-time home buyers, they qualify for what's called an FHA loan, which is going to require 3.5% down. And so at the very least, that's probably what you're going to need to budget for, is that 3.5%. Now, obviously, this is for the Wichita market, and so these numbers can vary depending on where you're at in the country.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for you today. We hope that you found our information informative. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Our contact information will be available to you right after the video. And then please leave your comments below if you've got any ideas for future episodes, something you would like to know more about. Feel free to leave those comments, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday.